Hello, some exciting news. My business, Bit Famous, has been shortlisted for Personnel Today's Learning and Development Supplier of the Year award. The winner is announced in the autumn, so fingers crossed. Hi, this time on the Penny Haslam Podcast, non-bragging humble types tend to forget just how far they've come. It's not just about celebrating the past and going, oh yeah, that went really well. It's about building on it. A year ago you were like this and now you're like this, so why can't you see that? Oh wow, that's amazing. Today I'm chomping at the bit to share a simple, free and powerful tool, the brag book. Yeah, it might sound a bit cringy, the brag book, but it's incredibly practical. Now, it's definitely not for those who find bragging a breeze, by the way, because this is not about showing off. It is a way to help people feel more confident and prepared at work, simply through collecting their wins, positive feedback, skills they've developed, and anything else that shows achievements, learning, small successes, things to be proud of, no matter how small. And time-wise, a brag book is vital. So people just do not afford themselves the time to reflect and gather their thoughts on what they've been up to, do they? So a brag book is about capturing data. It's there for when you need it, for when your people are about to go into a job interview or a career move, or they want to work on a project, or it's the personal development plan moment or the appraisal or whatever you call it. But in my experience, non-bragging humble types tend to forget just how far they've come, and they play down what they might consider to be just part of the job. And you might be one of those people too. So what does a brag book look like? Well, it can be easier, frankly. It's as simple as whatever you want it to look like. So some people use a desktop folder, a brag book folder for screenshots of positive feedback, notes on projects they've worked on, or lists of achieved goals and your own comments about all of that. Or digital notes, use a phone just to quickly jot down achievements on the go. You might come out of a meeting and had a really good conversation where your idea got really listened to and explored. Perfect for capturing spur of the moment wins. And of course, for the traditionalists, the humble paper notebook, probably a fresh one with a new pen to jot down successes. And there's something very satisfying, isn't there, about writing it out, and it goes in your brain a little better, I think. So what would you include in this? So I've mentioned a few ideas about the positive stuff, but anything really that makes you feel good in your career development and your progress as a human being. So yeah, positive feedback, successes on projects, and it doesn't have to be like the ultimate outcome of that project. It could be the journey along the way, the wins along the way. It might be a new skill that you've learned or realize that you've learned. You know, often we work in environments where we're learning all the time, and it's not often we go, oh, right, I couldn't do that a year ago, but now it's part of how I do things. We become used to our new skills, don't we? So they perhaps get overlooked. And when you're handling a tricky situation and it's gone okay, and the key is to record it as it happens. So little and often, rather than trying to do it all in one big go at some point. And people see benefits straight away. There is enhanced self-awareness. So a brag book would help people understand their strengths and successes, which is really reassuring, isn't it, in a new or challenging situation. There's positive reinforcement, and not from like waiting for it to happen to you. You've got a note of it. A quick glance at past wins provides the confidence boost, doesn't it? Especially when you're caught up in daily pressures. So you're managing to positively reinforce yourself, validate your existence, if you like, through your own notes rather than waiting for somebody or a certificate or a pass or a fail or, you know, that kind of thing. You've also got efficient preparation. So they make prepping for promotions, meetings and opportunities faster and easier as you're achievements are readily at hand. You don't have to use them all, but you can cherry pick the ones that are relevant. And I find that brag books are highly motivating. So it's not just about celebrating the past and going, oh yeah, that went really well. It's about building on it. And tracking your progress is motivating. You say, well, that's how far I've come. Oh, wow, that's amazing. So it keeps momentum and motivation high, which is great, isn't it? Leaders have a job in all of this, and managers, to encourage their teams, their colleagues, by asking, what's something you've achieved this month, or what feedback are you proud of? Now, then suggesting, if they can't think of anything, well, maybe a brag book would help. So this approach helps people keep track of their progress, and then it makes performance reviews or career conversations more time efficient. And I'll tell you for why, because no one likes sitting with a colleague who simply cannot recall the stuff they've worked on, or the minutiae of that, the detail, or what personal development moments they might have had. And that's frustrating, especially if you're seeing a talented individual in front of you who perhaps isn't sure of what they've achieved. Oh, and you think, oh, you've achieved so much. A year ago, you were like this, and now you're like this. So why can't you see that? So suggest this easy to use and highly effective tool, the brag book, in your next meeting, or talk about it through internal comms channels and see what difference it could make in your workplace. It's easy. It's no fuss. Let's face it, it's free, isn't it? And it's a brilliant way to build confidence and reflect on successes. And then, ultimately, the big picture is about creating a culture of positive self-development and learning. That's the trend. That's the way forward, people. So give it a try. I can tell you it's worth it for sure. Thanks for listening.